Hi everyone, today we have a Wurlitzer 2100 jukebox, and the problem is that it's playing the same record over and over regardless of the selection that we make. So today we're going to take it apart and see if we can figure out what's going on. So the first thing we need to do is take the back panel off. So we're just going to twist these two clips here and pull the back panel down, and we'll remove that. Alright, so the record just finished. The arm puts it back down. And it is not reset. It's loading the same record again. Playing fine, but not changing to the next selection or resetting the record. Alright, so when we make a selection, what happens is that these solenoids engage here, and then it's going to select one of these pins. And you can see that one of the pins over there is selected, and it does not reset the pin. That arm is supposed to reset the pin. Unfortunately, it's not being reset, so we're going to reset it manually. I'm just going to use my finger here and push it. Now I'm going to click the reset switch to shut it off, and because we have no more pins selected, the jukebox should stop playing. So the way this is supposed to work is that this record selector here is supposed to turn around until it reaches the song selection, and then it's supposed to reset the song by pushing it back down, and that is not happening. It's hitting the pin and then it's backing up. So I'm just going to try manually pressing one of these solenoids in here, and we see that the pin gets raised for the song selection. It looks like it tries to reset the pin, but it's resetting the wrong one. Alright, so I'm just going to reset this pin again and click on the reset button to stop it. Okay, so to fix the problem, what we're going to need to do is lift the glass here on the front of the jukebox, and we're just going to get it locked into place there. So next we're going to lift this front panel here just by lifting it straight up, and then we're going to pull back like that. And just under the record carousel, there's this switch here, and what we're going to do is pull it straight back towards us like that. Alright, so I noticed that when I press the service lever back, it's not engaging this black lock pin here, so that's all gummed up and it needs to be lubricated. So we will spray some contact cleaner in there and make sure that that black latch is locking onto the carousel wheel there. So I'm just going to use some contact cleaner with lubrication. Then we're going to spin this record carousel until it clicks into place. We're just going to keep turning this clockwise until you hear a pin click into place, and then basically it's going to engage with the selector wheel down below. So I just lubricated that pin right there, the black latch pin, and we will turn the lever back to the way it was, and we will replace our front panel. Okay, so now I'm going to try selecting a record. We will try D8, and our carousel is now turning. Should stop on D8. Perfect. Loading the record. And we are back in business. Okay, so now we're ready to make a selection again, and we're going to try D22, and we'll come around to the jukebox here and we'll watch to make sure that it stops on that pin and resets it properly. Now it should press it down. Perfect. That's looking much better. This jukebox was sitting in a garage for quite a number of years since the amp wasn't working. But now that we got the amp working, we wanted to move it inside, and when we did, it no longer loaded records properly. What was happening was that the record finger would load the record, but it would only go so high, and it was not getting centered properly with that record clamp cone there. So when that cone for the record clamp there extended out, it would actually get jammed on the record and halt the motor. I didn't get that on video, but I'd still like to show you what I did to resolve it in case it happens to anybody else. So the way that this works here is that this finger is going to go push the record up, but there's a little plate here, and that's going to stop when it hits this pin and pushes it up. And that pin pushes up this little tab here to show you which side of the jukebox that the record is playing from. So the problem was that the finger wasn't able to push the record all the way so that it was centered properly with the record cone, and it was a result of this little black nut here that sticks out from the side of that little plate there, as you can see there, and it was binding on this gold and white plastic here. There's actually two things we had to do to resolve this. One was bending this metal bracket here a little bit to the left, and on the one on the right side as well a little bit to the right, so that there was no binding in that metal plate there. The second thing we did was add a little bit of lubrication to that hinge pin right there so that it would move a little bit more freely. The key is that we want to make sure that this record arm here can extend all the way without being impeded on this plate here by that pin right there or by the glass. The next problem that we had was that this select button here wasn't working. When we pushed it, it was not engaging the select light. So as I mentioned, this jukebox was sitting in a garage for a number of years, so as a result it was quite dusty. And what happened was one of these solenoids that was in this coin box here had seized right up, and it's that one right there. So what I did is I just sprayed a little bit of silicone lubricant here, contact cleaner with silicone lubricant, onto that solenoid and worked it in, and it freed up, and we were able to use the selector switch again. So when we press the switch, it's supposed to engage this solenoid, but if you do it manually, you can see that it locks into place, and then we can actually make our selections. Another very common problem with these jukeboxes is that a lot of times you'll hear the sound coming from the record here, but not from the amp. And this is most commonly found when the jukebox is moved or when playing a lot of songs with a high bass. And the issue is that this cartridge here will actually disengage and jiggle free from the contacts at the back. So this cartridge can be removed by pulling to the right and then just pulling straight back and out. So the issue is that there's two contacts at the back here, and these usually can come free. So generally what I want to do is make sure that I spray some deoxide on them and make sure they're nice and clean, and then make sure it's connected nice and firmly back into the slot. When we replace it, we just want to make sure that it's pushed in as firmly as possible so that the contacts snap into place at the pins at the back. So those those are some of the common adjustments that you have to make for a Wurlitzer 2204 jukebox. I hope this video helps somebody else.